Hi, my name is Alec Carpenter. I'm a controls engineer with Iris Factory Automation, and today I'm going to take you on a little walkthrough of how we program recipes on our RPZ Max Palletizer. So from our home screen here, we're going to navigate to our overall recipes screen. Here you have the option to export recipes to save a backup as an Excel file, as well as import recipes for editing offline, or if you have multiple RPZ Maxes in the same building, you can go and transfer recipes between as many as you'd like so that they only need to be created on one machine. For this example, we're going to start with a new recipe. And here's where we're going to enter a lot of our information. We'll enter box dimensions, pallet dimensions, and then we'll elect to use a few different options that we have here available for each recipe. I've gone ahead and entered most of this information off screen to speed things up a little bit. But we have on the left here our box dimensions. You'll have length, width, height, and weight, as well as our pallet dimensions. Our pallet height can be overwritten at a later time in order to account for variations that we get in pallet height, but this will program the default. We also can set a robot max speed, which will cap the overall speed of the robot to eliminate any discrepancies in terms of dropping too many boxes on a really heavy box on a really slow rate. It allows you to set a maximum so that people don't go any faster than they need to for a given recipe. We have the capability as well to choose our orientation of our label here and where the label is coming down on the box. Some of our other options include the ability to use multiple interlock patterns, the ability to simply mirror the left pallet, so you only need to create a recipe once. Centered picks is when we're using multiple vacuum zones to pick one box, and as well as using our pallet wizard in general, which we can turn off anytime that we're doing a fully custom program. We can pull up slip sheet settings, where we're able to determine whether the robot is picking slip sheets after every layer, after odd layers, or do simply a custom enter the numbers that we want to follow with a slip sheet. We also can detail our box approach settings, and this is how we're going to determine what path the robot takes to get the box to its place position. By increasing the Z1, Z2 height values, we're able to make sure that we clear our boxes with enough space so that we're not dragging over the top of it, as well as doing our offset to account for any major twist that we have in the box to let the robot come in from a further position and then drop down into the place position without having any interference with boxes already on the pallet. We have some custom options that we can use when we need to get a little more particular and have certain layers have different approach settings than other ones. After getting all of my settings set here, I can come to the build pallet screen. Once we're here, we have the capability of choosing between single and double picks, which will be indicated by having one or two boxes out there. We as well can choose a double pick and a single place. For this, the robot will pick two boxes. As you can see, it says 1A, and then we have 2B. So it will pick both boxes, and then you have the capability to place these two boxes in different directions and even different orientations. When you do a double pick and double place, it'll place these two together, control both vacuum zones at the same time, and allow you to place the box. We can use this to rotate, and that way guarantee the orientation of the boxes as well as the orientation of the labels if this product only has labels on one side. We additionally have our approach settings here. We'll choose this option and we'll see why in a second here. As I go to place the other boxes, I can choose the same approach. Guarantee my labels are facing outside and I'm able to place the boxes in position. The approach direction comes into play here because we can ensure that as we approach from this side and we already have boxes 1 and 2 on the pallet, we're going to come from the outside and then place them in place and avoid having any collisions between the first box we place and the next two. For our final position, I will put this box down at the bottom here. And there, that'll be our first layer. Now, because I chose the interlock patterns option, I'm able to create up to 4 different patterns on this screen. So when we're running with interlock, I can now come and place the box on the opposite side here and allow myself to build an interlock pattern. All right. And as I said, we can go up to 4 patterns here, so I'll throw a couple boxes on there just to demonstrate that once we finish with our pallet patterns and we come to save, we now will pull up an option for custom interlock layers. Here, for each pattern, we're able to choose between the 4 patterns that we made. So this does not limit you to either doing alternating interlock or a straight column stack. We're able to come and set each individual layer to the pattern that we want. So for something like this, I will go and I'll just use those first 2 true interlock patterns that I used. Now we also come and we set the boxes per pallet. These boxes here had 8 boxes per pallet. So to make something that goes 10 layers high, I'll go ahead and punch in 80. I'll save our recipe. And there you have it. That'll have a new recipe created using interlocking patterns that we can now come back at any point in time through the edit recipe screen, and I can change particular options about it. We can still change the height if we get box variation. If there's a product that's getting overfilled, or particularly frozen product tends to crest above the box sometimes as things freeze irregularly, as well as pallet height as you have damaged pallets come in, as I said earlier. You can also come and you can tweak this pallet as much as we want going forward. You can always come back and edit this pallet as many times as you want, as well as save a copy. If we don't want to overwrite this, you could always just version that recipe number, and that way as those variations swing back the other way and the way the product is being filled, you can revert back to a different recipe to accommodate for differences. That's the basics there for building recipes on the RPZ Max. Thank you for watching.